I would like to take you to my favourite place, and that's called Madron Holy Well. We've all heard of these magic holy wells where people go to get cured. We've got lots of them in Cornwall. The most famous one of all is called Madron Holy Well. It's 3 miles out of Penzance. It's in a beautiful location. You've all heard of Cornish pixies. Well, they do hover around these wells. They got tremendous healing power too. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the old customs that used to carry on there. The children would be brought down to the well in the month of May, and then they'd be dipped into the water, and then they would have to go clockwise in a circle 9 times, and then they'd be taken out and they'd be resting on Madron's bed. And also there was another custom they used to do. They used to have a cross, wheat or barley straw, and they put a pin through it, and the young maidens would throw it into the well, and if there was a lot of bubbles, that would decide whether there was going to be a early marriage or not. Also, they'd have 2 pebbles, and if these 2 pebbles landed on the bottom of the pond, the well, at the same time, it meant that they would soon get married. For my second story, I'm going to tell you all about Martha Ivey, better known as Mother Ivey. But I think you ought to know a little bit about Mother Ivey's Beach. It never was called that in the early days. It was always known as Polventon. And how it got its name, Mother Ivey. Martha Ivey was a white witch. She could heal people. She could foretell the future. She was someone very helpful and would help all the people. And when it came herring fishing time, the St. Ives men would come up to the beach, Polventon, and they used to say, well, as the years rolled by, they'd say, another few months we'll go up and we'll see old Mother Ivey. But there also was a key figure in our village of St. Madron, and he was known as Squire Peters. He lived in the big manor house at Harling Bay. He owned Harling Bay Farm, and there was an Harling Bay fish company. They used to catch the herrings and send them to Italy or Portugal. So back now to Martha Ivey. I've set the picture a little bit with Squire Peters and his activity. The boat came back, the fish was unloaded. Squire Peters said, put them on the land and I'm going to get the horses out in the plough. We'll plough them in. But Martha was walking along there and she seen all these lovely fish. And she said to Squire Peters, can I have a few fish? She said, to distribute amongst the villagers. He said, you be on with you. He said, nobody's having no fish, I'm going to plough them into the ground. And she looked out, let him right in the eye, and she pointed with her finger like that. She said, if you plough those fish in, the oldest son will die. He said, I don't believe in none of this twiddle twaddle. He said, and he gave the command to his workers and the 2 horses. The furrow started to plough. That was it. It was done. Anyhow, a couple of months had passed, and Squire Peters' oldest son, this is so strange as I tell you the story at this given time, was killed at Tresanna Cross. That's where I live. That's my home. For my third tale, I'm going to tell you all about St Nectan's Glen. That's situated halfway between Tintagel and Boscastle. It's a beautiful walk, and the trees are like talking to you all the time. The leaves are rattling. It's just like big audios clapping after a big show. There's a wonderful waterfall. It comes down through the valley, cascades down over into a big basin.